I'm excited to welcome you to OFN's 2020 conference. In a minute, I'll talk about our industry's long march to finance justice. But first, I want to express my profound gratitude. To our conference sponsors, thank you for your unwavering support of this event and the CDFI industry this year. To everyone who's attending an OFN conference for the first time, thank you for joining us on our march. And to longtime friends and partners, thank you for your tenacity throughout an overwhelming period of time. CDFIs, you've done good. We're a $222 billion industry that's making our money work when and where America needs it most. What an unbelievable year. More than 220,000 Americans are now dead from the pandemic, an unabated economic crisis, brutal racism in stark relief, and a presidential election that has divided America even more. 2020 has been relentless. There's been so much pain. For me, this year is a roller coaster of extremes, of devastating lows and hopeful highs. Like many of you, I've lost too many friends, and these losses are intensified by being physically isolated. And as we all have, I felt powerless against a crisis that's killed more than 1 million people worldwide and caused economic upheaval with no real end in sight. And I've been reminded again and again that my own African American children are never really safe in America. It's impossible to separate the pain of COVID-19's lost lives, closed businesses, uncertain livelihoods, and the agony of racial injustice. They intersect to create a turmoil unseen in our lifetime. But in this turmoil, I am able to plow through grief and find purpose in work. In our work, I find hope. When Representative John Lewis died this year, after a life spent marching for justice, he left us with these wise words. He said, "Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America. This is the march that CDFIs are on. With extraordinary vision, we finance justice, one loan, one relationship, one neighborhood at a time. Our industry is allied with others in political and education and criminal justice reform. But as finance institutions, we CDFIs do something special. We finance hope. We build community. We tell people that they are seen and that they matter. So although I hate working from home and being unable to see the CDFI work up close and on the ground, more than ever before, I feel so privileged to be part of a field that heals pain. For more than 40 years, our industry has fought for justice in rural and urban and Native communities. And over the past 9 months, more than 1,000 CDFIs nationwide have leveraged this history to lean into the pain of this year. We've gone deeper to deliver financing and support to low income and low wealth and persistently poor communities. Even as we too are businesses dealing with the pandemic's impact, CDFIs have met 2020 in the part of the system that we know best, and that's finance. And we've brought the strongest weapons in our arsenal: capital and expertise. But there's one more: heart. Because with our financing and supportive services comes love. Love for the people and places we serve. Heart is what makes our industry what it is. It's our most powerful, not so secret weapon. So let me talk about a few examples. Lord knows childcare is essential for millions of American workers. And to help keep these services afloat and maintain a vital support for families, Low Income Investment Fund, headquartered in San Francisco, created a COVID-19 childcare relief effort that raised more than $23 million in grants and PPP loans for hundreds of childcare businesses in New York City and the Bay Area, in Los Angeles and the District of Columbia. Tribal members on Wisconsin reservations who are struggling to buy food or cover rent and mortgage payments because of COVID-19, well, they found some help through the Wisconsin Native Loan Fund's Consumer Relief Loan Program. And when the uprisings turned violent in Philadelphia and Minneapolis, Philadelphia's Enterprise Center Capital Corporation and St. Paul's African Economic Development Solutions expressed solidarity with the protesters, while also extending financial resources to help small businesses affected by vandalism. While much of America has shunned immigrant communities, down at our southernmost border in Texas, the staff of CDC Brownsville, which is now known as CDCB, has worked around the clock from their homes to provide counseling and resources to thousands of immigrant families worried about paying the bills. All of this activity has put CDFIs on a national stage like we've never been before. The public and private sectors have clearly acknowledged that we are a critical part of the financial infrastructure. Longtime CDFI partners like Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase, and Wells Fargo have turned to us to move their capital into the communities we know better how to serve. We've welcomed new partners, such as Google. Through Opportunity Finance Network, Google invested $170 million from its corporate treasury and $10 million from its philanthropic arm into CDFIs to help minority and women-owned small businesses. And this was the year that Congress turned to CDFIs in an extraordinary way. The House and Senate's attention to CDFIs this year was, to use the word of the year, unprecedented. Congressional leaders on both sides of the aisle worked so hard to have CDFIs included in the Paycheck Protection Program. And I'm so proud that CDFIs outperform much larger and better capitalized lenders. I'm proud, but I'm not surprised, because this is what we do. Communities hardest hit by COVID-19, the resulting recession, and systemic racism are the communities that our CDFIs have served since our earliest days. Our borrowers are 85% low-income people, 58% people of color, 48% women, and 26% rural. And our track record demonstrates that you can lend successfully in these communities. This is what it means to upend racist systems and structures. The communities that CDFIs serve are not just statistics. They're the people and the families with dreams who are on the ladder to build wealth with CDFI financing and support. Right now, the private and the public sectors have an unprecedented opportunity to join us in our march to finance justice. An Opportunity Finance Network has a very clear message for both. We need more money. Our goal is to raise $1 billion in private capital. We've issued this call to America's leading corporations at the Business Roundtable when we asked new investors to follow Google's example and each commit $100 million in long-term debt capital to CDFIs. And private philanthropies must also step up to support CDFIs at a critical time. Together, private and corporate capital would support small businesses and affordable housing and healthcare facilities and the social services providers that are so needed in our underserved communities. But we know that America's disparities cannot be solved with corporate money and philanthropy alone. Government policies helped create the racial wealth gap, and government policies must help remedy it. Opportunity Finance Network and our allies are urging Congress and the administration to include at least $1 billion in emergency grants to the CDFI fund in the next COVID relief legislation and annually each year going forward. Private and public sector money will leverage so much more capital that can close cavernous gaps in financing. This is the march we're on. Join us. In closing, I want to offer some hope in a time that's testing everyone. There's a Ghanaian term, Sankofa, which roughly translates as the way forward begins with going back. And from the Ghanaian side of my family, I take the belief that those who've gone on before us can bolster us on our mission today. And so I want to go back to John Lewis. If there ever was a superhero in the fight for social and economic and racial equality, it's Lewis. This bold and brilliant man dedicated his life to justice. At only 25 years old, he was savagely beaten by police while marching for voting rights. And ever the warrior, he persevered to later serve in Congress, where he was considered the conscience of the House. Lewis's last known public appearance was a visit to Black Lives Matter Plaza in our nation's capital. At 80 years old, when he knew he was dying, John Lewis did what he spent his life doing. He marched on, this time to witness the call of a new generation of civil rights leaders. As Americans head into a new year and a new administration, we face more change and uncertainty. But our mission remains the same. CDFIs, finance justice. We've got tremendous work ahead. America's injustices are hundreds of years in the making, and we won't undo them overnight. But together, we can undo them. Now, I know many of you are weary, and our work is so hard. And when the world feels like too much, which it has this year, I put on my Nikes and I load up my iPhone and I start walking. I often listen to my favorite gospel song. Some of you know it. It's I Don't Feel No Ways Tired. And those words push me on. I've come too far from where I started from. Nobody told me that the road would be easy, but I don't believe he brought me this far to leave me. So CDFIs, we've come so far, and this road is worth walking, though it's not an easy march. Let John Lewis's beautiful example inspire you. He marched his entire life toward justice, and he's now passed the baton, and we must carry it forward. So let's stay the road together. Let's finance justice. March on.